Back, so.
From the Associated Press. Prime Minister, when you attend the summit in Paris tomorrow, if any of your fellow European leaders propose a European-wide banking bailout, how will you respond? Is that the right approach for Europe to take?
Well, the suggestion that there's a fund about to be formed across Europe, there is no currency in that. I gather that any suggestions that have been made by different countries are not on the agenda for tomorrow. What I do think is on the agenda is how we can work together to deal with cross-border activities, how we can work together to look at how the economy can be stimulated as a whole, and how we can look together at some of the loopholes in legislation and regulation, like disclosure, that we can deal with as well. And I think one of the most important things I just signal that is now coming up that we will be active on is proposing a new initiative to help the funding of small businesses in Britain and across Europe. I believe that given that the banks have been unable to give small business the funding that's necessary, this is where governments have to step in. And so I want to be there helping small business get access to the funds they need. And I believe that the European Investment Bank has a major role to play. And I'm talking not just about millions, I'm talking about billions to be made available to help the small businesses of our country. Yeah, thank you. Anybody?
Michael Crick of Newsnight. When you go to Paris tomorrow, won't you have some explaining to do about Peter Mandelson? If he has done such a brilliant job as European Trade Commissioner, isn't it in the interests of Europe and the world economy that he should stay there rather than come back here and help shore up your political position? No,
it's in the interest of our country that we use the expertise that he's built up in Europe over these last 3 years. Look, this is a global economy now. We're not dealing with national economies or even with just European economies. We're dealing with the global economy. We will find that over the next few months, we will have to deal with the oil-producing states in new ways that people have not foreseen before. We will have to deal with, obviously, the Asian issues that arise from the rise of China and India. No company in Britain is unchanged as a result of these events. Many companies, many of our biggest companies now have Asian or Arab shareholders in large numbers. The world is simply changing, and we need people who have that experience to help us. Now, I think we've nominated for the position of European Commissioner to replace him, someone who is excellent in Cathy Ashton, who's the leader of the House of Lords, and I believe that she will prove to be a very good commissioner indeed. But these are decisions that are, in the end, for portfolios up to the European Union. We are going to benefit from Peter Mandelson's experience, but we're also going to benefit from the experience of all the other people I've listed today. This is a situation where whatever the ups and downs have been in the past, everybody has got to come together to make sure that as a nation we come through this successfully. And I believe that we can lead the world in taking the action that is necessary. I say action that will be followed by other countries later, but we will lead by doing the things that are necessary to make our economy move forward. And my interest remains is the standards of living and the security of millions of people in this country who have looked to us rightly for stability over the last 11 years. We have had a period of growth and stability. We must now deal with an international problem that is hitting every country, but I believe we can deal with it in an effective way with a team that is totally focused on doing that. Right at the back, and then I'll finish.
George Jones from the Press Association.
Hi, George. Yeah.
Could I just ask the Chancellor, I'm still slightly confused following Rob's question. You're saying that there is this new £50,000 limit, but you also seem to suggest that if there is another equivalent of Northern Rock, you will come in, you will do whatever is necessary to restore confidence and, as it were, safeguard the deposits there. So there seems to be, is it 50,000 or is it you'll do whatever there is if there is another bank failure?
The two propositions are not exclusive. Northern Rock, as you know, got into difficulty and eventually had to be nationalised. And we had to do something similar with Bradford and Bingley last weekend. And what I said at the time of Northern Rock remains the position today. That has not changed one bit. Separate to that, the FSA, through the Financial Services Compensation Scheme, has run a scheme that had a maximum of £35,000 per account. That's now gone up to £50,000, as I say, £100,000 if it's a joint account. And on top of that, the FSA is consulting to see whether or not they should raise it further still. And in addition to that, they're looking at ways in making faster payouts. They're looking at how this compares with what's going on in different parts of Europe. But the two things should be seen together. Northern Rock clearly was a particular problem, and I've made it clear that, as Gordon was saying just now, right across the world, and in Europe as well, governments are doing the same thing, and they are trying to do everything they can to stabilise what is a difficult situation. How they do it will vary from country to country. How they react in particular circumstances will vary according to what's appropriate and what's right. But the one thing that people can be absolutely assured of, as I said time and time again, 3 times today, that we will do whatever it takes, whatever is right, whatever is appropriate to stabilise the financial position and to make sure that we safeguard depositors as well. We've made clear that that is our priority, just as the Governor of the Bank of England also made clear today that his priority is to do whatever he thinks is right and appropriate to support the banking system. So people should be in no doubt about that. We are going through extraordinarily turbulent times. And here, just as in every other country in the world where they're facing exactly the same problems, we'll do whatever it needs, whatever it takes.
Nothing takes second place to taking this country through the difficulties we face. We need the right people and the right policies, and I was pleased that the opposition parties were prepared to give all parties support to the actions that we've taken in the last few days. Nick, finally, on the
purely on the economy. Are you saying, I think you are, when you're saying about new types of working, and you might not like the language of this, but I wonder if this is the point you're trying to get over to the country. Are you saying that in a sense you've set up a kind of economic war cabinet? You regard this as being an hourly and daily challenge, and you've set up a kind of war cabinet to deal with this that meets regularly with new people? Is that the message you're trying to get across to us?
We're taking special action in unique circumstances. I do believe that every other country will follow us in this, but we're recognising that to deal with the elements that are causing people to face tough choices about their standards of living, we have to bring together a whole range of responsibilities and get them working in a way that can deal with the people's problems directly. So this is a new way of governing that's based on the uniqueness of the circumstances. These are new times, as I've said. The global economy will never be the same again. Huge changes are taking place. We've got to deal with it in a new way, and by leading the way to have a new economic council, call it what you will, the important thing to say is we are taking all the action that's necessary, and will do whatever it takes to ensure not just the stability of the economy, because that is absolutely crucial, but also that we get the economy onto a path of growth where people can see that we're being fair in the way we deliver people the prosperity for the future. Okay, thank you all very much.